Now it's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, we're back on the air and everywhere from the community to the world. It's the Brown Beauty. He's back on duty. That's me, Jesse T. And it's good to be back with you here as we roll through to the weekend. Another interesting day in Southern California weather-wise. Where is the summer gone? We need the blue skies back with us, and we got to have that coming here nice and tight because it's summertime 2017. Good to have you along. What a great show we have lined up here at thepowerofvoices.com. That's www.thepowerofvoices.com. Also, we're broadcasting live right here on the air. We are bringing it to you the way that you like it, up close and personal, baby. Yeah. Oh, Mama T, thank you for being with me. I don't want to get in trouble. Trying not to. Thank you, Lee, for that beautiful introduction that you gave us and that godlike voice of yours. I do wish I had that baritone. Oh, yes. But I don't. I have to get real close to the mic, and it doesn't always work that way. But, hey, we're also broadcasting out on YouTube Live, The Power of Voices. This is where you can check us out right now. Facebook.com/Jesse Torero. Facebook.com/Straight on the Point. Facebook.com/The Power of Voices. We're on Instagram Live. Thanks a lot for starting to check in and chime in with us. And we're also on Periscope, and we're live streaming. Also, we are on UPeak and Ustream and Snapchat and Google and Diggy and Tumblr and Pinterest, and the world continues to flow in the social network world. And the reason why we're out here and we are getting this message out, because that's what we do here at the Power of Voices. One more piece of business: download that free app anytime, anywhere, on any machine that you can get an app on, because there are a whole bunch of great shows here at the Power of Voices as we broadcast 24/7, 365 days a year. It's the Jesse T Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 every day. And I have the very honorable opportunity to bring on some terrific people that are sitting to my right. And they're looking at me going, "Man, don't you shut up. You speak way too fast for me." Yeah, well, I do. That's how I get myself in trouble, and I get myself out of trouble. I speak too fast. But that's okay. I have to bring on the world champion, the champ himself. First off, we have to introduce the champ, Benny the Jet Urquidez, right behind me, right here to my right. All right, Benny. Benny the Jet Urquidez, one of the absolute greatest fighters you have ever experienced. Now, if you are a little bit older and you got a chance to see Benny the Jet fight in person when he was champion, you had a very great experience and a very great opportunity to see one of the greatest fighters. But we're not yet done, because we have another wonderful, and actually the beauty of the room today, Carol. Hi, Carol. How are you?
Good, thank you.
And Carol's real important here because she, and along with her husband, AJ, way over there on the other side of the Grand Canyon, that's right, AJ, they put together a terrific fight that we're going to talk about that benefits the Kidney Quest Foundation, as well as a lot of the kids that help them get off the street and set their lives right and narrow and straight. And so we're going to be talking about that. So I commend you guys for coming in. I appreciate what you're doing. I can't wait to get into the meat and potatoes about this, and we got a lot to talk about. Thank you very much for coming into the Jesse T Show and the Power of Voices. So let's talk about, before we get going, about the foundation and the fight, because we've got posters to show. And by the way, while you're watching the show, if you want to bring it up on your smartphone, there is a website to go to that you can start chiming into now as well. Can you give me the website for the fight? Do you have something, or a Facebook page right now?
No, you can go to kidneysquestfoundation.org.
Okay.
And pull up all the information about the fight show and about where to get tickets at and everything about the foundation.
And we're going to talk all about that.
Sure.
But let's talk about your illustrious career right now first, Benny. I mean, guys, you got to understand something. Everybody who grew up in the Northeast San Fernando Valley, where I grew up in, Sun Valley, Pacoima, Burbank, we all have a story that relates to the Urquidez family somewhere in our timeline. we all have a story. And the story that I tell with great love and admiration, and when we saw each other at the Martial Arts Kid premiere in Woodland Hills, the story I tell is I was a little kid at the Pacoima Boys Club. Remember the old Pacoima Boys Club on Van Nuys Boulevard?
Absolutely.
The reconditioned community center. You know, it was falling down everywhere. They didn't have any money or anything. Not the big one that's on Glen Oaks right now.
Sometimes some of the greatest fighters come out of those places, those little places.
Oh, yeah. And you know, we were kids, you know, and you used to go down there and you would train the kids and help some of the kids. And
That's
every
right.
chance and opportunity that you had the opportunity to do that. And I was, 10 years old. I was just a kid, and we would ride our little orange crate bicycles, our Schwinn bicycles, or whatever we could get, and we'd ride down there and we'd play. And then you would show up and with some gloves, and you taught all the kids. I mean, you must have taught thousands of kids how to throw a jab, how to throw a left, how to throw a right, an uppercut, how to dance, how to move, how to protect, how to defend, just these little things. But the one thing I do remember is the things that you used to say to motivate us, you know, to make us feel better about ourselves. And you were already champ at that time. I mean, you were a champ several times over. What inspired you to kind of, you know, give back to the Pacoima Boys and Girls Club? I mean, of all things.
Well, you got to remember, you know, I was raised in the valley. You can take the kid out of the valley, but you can't take the valley out of the kid, you know. And I was born and raised here, and I was blessed. My father was a professional boxer, my mother professional wrestler. There's 9 black belts in my family. There's 4 champions in my family. So when kids at 3 years old had fire trucks, if they were lucky, you know, I had boxing gloves. So at the age, you know, I mean, my first fight was in 58. So in this is something that I was blessed with my family. And so for entertainment, all my family, we kind of just sparred each other for, you know, entertainment.
Can you imagine a Sunday afternoon barbecue on 4th of July or
There
something
you
in the
go.
backyard with some, you know, with some good chicken crowing, some El Pollo Loco, right? Before there was El Pollo Loco,
That's
you know.
right. There was a lot of locals.
There was a lot of locals that say, right, you know what I'm talking about. And can you imagine what that would I would have loved to have
Yeah.
been the fly on the wall at
Yeah.
that party, you know, watching
Yeah,
all
that's
you
for
guys
sure.
get together, just playing with each other like that. I mean, what a blast.
But, you know, in my career, you know, at the age of 14 years old, I already had my first title. So having my first title at that age, you know, and my father, you know, he was a very external type of warrior, and my mother was very internal. And so in that, I had balance. I had best of the both worlds. So my oldest brother Arnold, all of us, you know, my mother was always talking about giving back, because again, when you're taught to memorize something, then you're taught to do it until you know it, then you're taught to own it without thinking, and then you're taught to give it back. So in the art, this is what we were taught, to give it back, and that's what we were doing. So when we actually went back to to Pacoima Club, or doesn't matter, all in San Fernando, all these clubs that were coming up, and all these kids, you know, and Pacoima, you know, I tell you, it was a way to give back to the kids, because we already had a chance to travel. Most of these kids have never seen the beach.
Right.
Never
Isn't that
been
an
over.
amazing
Yeah,
thing?
they've never seen the beach.
I remember those times. I mean, growing up, I didn't see the beach till I basically got my driver's license, right? In 76, it was like, the beach? Oh, okay, what do you do there? Besides try to talk to pretty girls,
There
which
you go.
we weren't all too good at the time.
But,
you know, what do you do at the beach? Oh, you know, don't they have things called sharks out there?
You know, actually, you know, we didn't see Jaws at that time, so we didn't know about it, and we didn't care about sharks. But I tell you what, most in the valley never had a chance. These kids never had a chance to go over and to the beach and see the beach. So we were giving back what we were given, and we had a chance to travel the world. And actually, in my career and so forth, it's like anything else. You know, when the good, bad, and the ugly comes in front of you, it's how you perceive it, how you're looking at it. And the dark presents itself because it has purpose. But at that time, you run from it because, you know, it's scary not knowing what it is. But, you know, everything you run from, you run into anyways, because you can't run from yourself. And so
that's profound.
And this is truly what we're teaching, is about turning yourself inside out, mirroring your truth. And most people hide their truth because it's painful. And so, because even though I was taught, as a boy, don't cry because, it shows weakness.
Right.
Don't show you're afraid, it shows weakness. Don't show, and all these emotions, as kids, we hid it because we thought it was weak.
Mm-hmm.
So at 12 years old, 14 years old, we see a girl crying, and we're trying to say, "Oh, come on, don't cry. You're stronger than that. Everybody's watching." It's only because it made us feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Not because we're trying to help them. It just made us feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, what do you do?
That's right.
How do you help in that respect? Let me give you just some of the rundown, and you correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
Because you live this world, and I just was a spectator watching it. But I'm going to read some of the titles, and I got this from Wikipedia, so
Sure.
that's not always correct. So, but I'm just going to read some of them. WSMAC open weight champion, world champion in 1974, correct?
73.
73. Okay, so 73, and you were world champion there. You were world champion in the mid 70s for the WSMAC lightweight champion. So that's now 2 times world champion, right? And then the WPKO World Professional Karate Organization, you were a world champion in 1975. Did you find it interesting to the combination of boxing and kicking? Was that something that came to you naturally, or were your hands more natural? Because your kicking is phenomenal.
Well, first of all, I come from a boxing background.
Right.
Back in the 50s, I was boxing Pee Wee division, but in 60, I started judo. So I was already a grappler back there. So by the time 63 came, I started Kempo Karate. And so all the way up until 73, I started what we call full contact karate. The World Series of Martial Arts, no weight divisions, no rules. And
that was new then, too. That was totally new.
It was no rules at all. And so my brother and I and my brother-in-law, Blinky, we all went to Hawaii. We all fought. I fought Saturday. I fought 7 times. I stopped 7 of my opponents on Saturday. And then on Sunday for the grand champion, I fought 4 times. I ended up beating Dana Goodson, 6'3", 245 pounds.
Yeah, it was almost like an open weight class.
That was what you call the UFC back then.
Right. Right.
And I mean, it got to the point where fighting them, honest to God truth, that I was getting tired in the 4th round. That I actually spit my mouthpiece out, and I had him pinned down after I threw him, and he started to get up, and I actually bit him in the chest.
So you did the Mike Tyson before the Mike Tyson. Man, I gotta tell you, that's a classic story. I like that. Bit the man in the chest,
and he actually palmed me on my face, and we got up, and I had my teeth marks on his chest, and he said, "You bit me," and I said, "I was getting tired."
That's a terrific story.
Jesse, it's funny that he says that about Dana Goodson, because I had went to Japan with one of the other champions, and when we were over there, I didn't have a corner to help me corner my fighter. So Dana comes up to me and says, "Hey, AJ," he goes, "I'll tell you what, I will help you corner." He goes, "On one condition." I said, "What's that, Dana?" I said, "Anything." He goes, "Will you go back to United States and tell everybody that Benny didn't knock me out? He beat the crap out of me, but he didn't knock me out." I said, I beg to differ, because, he did knock you out. I saw it. So
right.
I can't say that. But
right.
It's kind of funny how he said that.
I would have said, "Please don't go back and tell America that he bit me in the chest." No, please. You talk about a hickey.
Oh, my God, yeah.
That was the ultimate hickey.
Yeah. Just get one thing straight, though. I tell you what, Dana was such a strong warrior, a beautiful soul. He's no longer with us, but I'll tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, because of him, he put me on the direction of full contact karate all the way up until 75, going on 76. The word kickboxing was born when I fought the first Muay Thai fighter. Actually, they say, "Well, you want to fight Muay Thai?" I, honest to God, truth, I thought that was his name. I said, "I'll fight him."
That's
because nobody ever heard of Muay Thai.
Muay Thai. What's Muay Thai?
That's
right.
I said, "I'll fight him."
Right.
And so, and the rest is, the rest is history. So, my family, we all was in the business,
Yeah, Carol's got some great stories because Carol fought too. You were a fighter as well, and you and Lily actually were together in fights and in the ring and stuff like that. Tell me a story that you have about that time.
I met Lily when I was 18
Now,
years
Lily,
old.
everybody that doesn't know, is Benny's sister.
sister.
And bless her soul, she's no longer with us either.
Yes.
And a tragedy there. But you were real close with her,
Yes.
Carol.
Trained, yes.
She
Tra-
was my
actually trained
mentor.
under.
She was a woman with strength and a mind. And like the Urquidez family does, they give back. Lily was actually the only one I listened to because my mind, we come from a very hard atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And Lily had the same mind as I did. And she said, "You like to fight?" And I looked at, we're at a karate tournament. I go, "Yeah, I like to fight." She goes, "Come on, let's go have some coffee." I go, "Coffee?" And she goes, "Oh, just come with me." I didn't go home for 5 days.
Get out of here. Really?
We started running at the mission. She started training me.
Right there.
And right on the spot.
Yeah,
I was
she
sleeping
didn't
on her
mess
couch.
around.
No. And you know what? She was one of a kind. She gave her all to
Right.
her students.
Yeah. I've
And-
heard that from many people.
But she made everybody feel like they were number one.
And she was, and like you and her other lady students, girl students at the time, because we were all younger at that time.
That's right.
But that was almost really the beginning of women fighting in the ring.
Well, you know, and actually, my sister was the first woman to actually fight for a boxing title. There was no women fighting at the time. She was so awesome that they gave to the point where they said they gotta have some kind of title for somebody
Right,
like her. And they
right.
actually, she's the first one to have the boxing title. She was the first one to have a kickboxing title.
Amazing.
She already had the martial art title.
Right.
So she was a woman that had 3 titles in 3 different sports.
That's an amazing. That's amazing because if you think back on the time now, it's 2017, and women and the empowerment of women today is like never in the history of our country, at least. The empowerment where ladies are starting to fight and starting to rise in business and become great doctors and attorneys and engineers and preachers and all walks of life. Women are really excelling. I have a 26-year-old daughter who's a professional athlete, a goalie, a soccer player, and just the things that at the fingertips of her life that's just starting really go back to the essence of where women were coming out of the 50s and 60s into the 1970s, where this type of approach, ladies were just not the item of exoticness anymore. They actually could hold their own. And your sister
Well, you know how true that is. It was about my sister and my wife and Carol. You know, they actually empower women, and that's really what
your
it is,
wife,
empower-
Eagle Woman.
Eagle Woman,
Right,
exactly.
right.
So they between them, they actually go out there and they push women to, instead of be catty with each other and so forth. You know, it's almost like looking, another woman look at somebody else's woman and say, "Oh, those shoes look better on me." Instead of saying they look beautiful on you. So more women are empowering each other
Right.
and pushing each other, and this is why they're growing and they're moving in such high
in
places.
fact, it's becoming very popular in movies and everything. You're starting to see action heroes that are ladies that are doing all of that now, which we never saw 10 years ago.
Right.
Now, Carol, when you were starting this adventure in the ring, were you apprehensive at all, or did you just feel like, yeah, I have something to prove?
I was so interested in learning how I can hurt somebody, but
That's all right.
professionally.
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to learn every technique to the T. So when I went in there, it became a sport, and that's the way Lily taught me. The brothers trained us at the gyms as a sport, as an art, not as beating up somebody and hurting somebody, but enjoying yourself and really getting the best out of it, and seeing all the qualities of the techniques take its course. And it was a high.
You
It
know,
was
the
something that you
thing
can't
about
find.
that, teaching it as an art form, that's very interesting that you said that, because if you teach it as an art form, then there's morality, ethic, and honor within it. If you teach it as a vigilante, combative art, or combative situation where you're trying to hurt somebody, then there's no honor and morality in it. And I think that in fighting, especially the fighting arts, there's always an afterlife. You know,
Well,
you're
you
not
know,
going to be in the
that's
ring
right.
forever.
Well, it's supposed to be a way of life when you're teaching the arts, and teaching the way of the art is mental, it's physical, it's spiritual. It's not just an external. It's not like, a lot of people would take it like if they would take it to go to church on Sunday and that's it. I said no, you take church with you. It becomes part of you, and so the art was meant, and when we teach it as a way of life.
Right.
So that way, you walk it, talk it, sleep it, dream it. It becomes part of you.
Right, absolutely. Those are really profound. My Sifu Gary Lam, I studied Wing Chun, boxing and wrestling. That's what I did. You got me in the boxing trail, and I did that. And then I broke my nose when I was 14 and a half, and I said, that's not for me. Thank you very much. So then I got into wrestling, high school and college, and that with football got me free education. So that was really cool. And that gave me the grappling and that kind of stuff. And then the martial arts I found in my late 20s, Wing Chun, because it was similar to a boxing in a lot of ways. And my Sifu Gary Lam studied Muay Thai, so he had the elbows and the kicks and the low line
right.
kicks and all that stuff. Now, I could never do high kicks like you, because if I did high kicks like you, my voice would be like this. They wouldn't have to change it. It would just change automatically, right? But okay, so AJ, now AJ, you've been around the family a long time, and you yourself come from this world in terms of that, and now you're here. You guys put together this great promotion, which I want to talk to you about, because I mean this is going to be huge, AJ.
Yeah, it's when this opportunity came about, I sat there and me and my wife talked about it, and I said, you know what, we have to embrace this. This is not like Benny was saying before. It never went away. Kickboxing has never went away. It's always been there, and you know what? It was a sport that I feel our family had pioneered. So as we do this event, we're bringing the kickboxing live back full force, and it's going to be an awesome event.
And you have a really interesting story, because with the Kidney Quest Foundation, this actually hits home with you. This is a personal thing that happened to you with your kidneys, your actual kidneys. Yes. So there's a connection there in terms of how quick you realize that life can end, and how important it is to give something back. Did you realize that before you came down with your ailment, or did that kind of have an epiphany in your life during your recovery? Did you realize with your wife that we've got to do something more?
Well, when we first was diagnosed, I was diagnosed in 2000, and they actually told me I had 6 months to live, and we just turned it around and just started working hard at it. And then me and my wife got together in 2004. Well, I told her, I said one day, I just out of nonchalance, I just told her, oh, by the way, I have, a kidney disease. And she kind of freaked out and panicked. She was like, let's go to the doctors. Let's figure this out. So at that time, I was already in 3rd stage renal failure.
Oh, boy.
So I was already on my way.
Wow.
And so my wife said, you know what, we need to grab a hold of this. And so we did. And we started working towards, getting ready for dialysis, which I was reluctant. I didn't want to do it, I was like, forget it, I'm not going to do it. But we did. So we started dialysis in 2006. 2007, my wife decided that we need to do a fundraiser to help with the finances and so forth. So we did a big poker run, which ended up having like 8,000 people coming to the event.
Wow.
And that was our day that we started our foundation. That was the day we launched it.
So God really blessed you with that, and all the good work that the family, the Kiedis family and your families have done in the community that really came together behind you.
Right. And I tell you what, that day that we did the poker run was, you talk about this show is amazing. That show was just unreal, because we had all the grandmasters there doing demonstrations.
Oh boy!
My Uncle Benny, we all were there, and just did a great, huge event. My father came in from China. So it was just the day that we launched this foundation, and we knew that day that one day this foundation was going to be huge because we were giving back. We were giving back to the community, and my wife had been in the medical business for 30 years. So who better to run it?
Yeah, to understand the ramifications and all the ins and outs of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and she took hold of it, and so we did.
See, ladies are always our better half. They, I mean, they always take a hold of things and just make it work.
Yeah.
It always seems to be that way. No matter what we try to do, I can do it. But you got to have someone to help you.
She's been, I mean, she's just been the one pushing, always pushing, and never let me give up. I don't think I had it in my heart to give up anyways, but you start getting a little weak sometimes.
Sure.
And of course you got a woman to push you behind and give you that little extra nudge. Well, 2012, August 23rd, I got my new life, which I got my new kidney.
All right, man. And you're here.
5 years later and still going strong. And,
working great.
Yes. And so we give back, and this is what our foundation does,
So
Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
About the foundation, what actually Carol actually did, her research was about understanding, about kidneys and because a lot of people have no idea. There are a lot of people have kidney problems, this and that, but they don't know what to do, and they feel lost, they feel lonely, they feel like, this is my life. I ruined my life, and I'm just going to die. I'm waiting for my maker to come. Carol went out there and did all this research and brought it to us, and we were enlightened, like, wow, I didn't know that. There is where you can get a kidney. There is where you can actually have people get, this Kidney Foundation became a place where people can be educated about, not just because you need a kidney, but your families are the ones that are hurting because they don't know what to do.
Right.
And so this foundation educates your family on what they can do. There is a way,
right.
And people do care, and and you can.
So you have to have some place to go to learn what to do in order to get something done that you need to get done. And if you don't know, especially in certain communities that don't have the same access as other communities to the information for whatever reasons, it's good to have a place to get that information. Another gentleman from our community over there originally, George Lopez, a comedian, he got a new kidney.
Yeah.
And he went to San Fernando High School. I mean, and we were talking about that earlier before the show started. All the great people that have come out of the San Fernando Valley, both in the entertainment business, but also in the athletic business and the fighting arts. It's just unbelievable what has come out of the San Fernando Valley. So it's important. I want to just cover just something here on the Kidney Foundation real fast. It's called the Kidney Quest Foundation Fight for Life. Now, I'm going to introduce this to you, and then we're going to start talking about this. We got some more to talk to you about, though.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The Kidney Quest Foundation Fight for Life show featuring boxing and kickboxing is a major fundraiser for KQF that will benefit KQF Emergency Backpack Program for children and adults with chronic kidney disease. Now, we have two kidneys, but oftentimes the good kidney gets affected by the bad kidney, and then both kidneys go out. You have to have a kidney to live. So in the event of an emergency or a natural disaster, such as an earthquake, these backpacks are especially tailored with critical items renal patients need to survive. Through this program, patients learn what to do and steps to take during an emergency. It's presented by the BCBC with special guests Benny the Jet Euclides and Danny Trejo, another person that's come out of the San Fernando Valley, had a tough life, and changed his life around. Learned some boxing in jail, in prison, and was a champion in prison. And he came out and learned some more boxing, and then started getting cast in films and stuff. He has an interesting story, and connected to you. Are you not? Are you connected to everybody in Los Angeles? I mean,
You know what? To tell you the truth,
maybe
there's
you're my
that-
dad. I don't know.
Hey, you never know. We gotta check that.
Wait a
blood
minute,
line,
Mom. Oh, wait, is
Yeah,
dad
there you
or
go.
what?
Dad from another mother. Here we go.
I don't care.
The good part about it is, again, we didn't come to do it by ourselves. We didn't come alone. We came to help each other. And this is the beautiful part about the San Fernando Valley, because here, there is so much talent here. And we're all reaching to one another, pushing one another, helping one another. But this foundation, I do a lot of fundraisers for a lot of different foundations. But this one here is my main one that I work with a lot, hands-on, because not only my belief system that I've seen my own, nephew.
Right.
I've seen what it's done in this, and where he's at this point, where he has a second chance in life. And Carol, I see not only that her love for, not only for her husband, but for people itself, people that are wounded and don't know where to go and are afraid and scared. I see this woman go out there. There is no such thing as time in her life when she's working on this foundation. And that's truly why I truly back it up in every which way. And she doesn't have to ask me. She just have to say, we're going to do this. I said, I'll be there.
One of the things, Carol, that happen when a loved one goes through, especially an organ transplant. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're talking about something that comes from another person. Right. God bless them for signing the card here in California to provide organs, which not enough people do.
Right.
You were mentioning to me, AJ, that the young man that you got your organ from saved 5 lives that day.
Yeah.
Yep.
The day he passed on.
Amazing.
That one man saved 5 lives that day. 5 lives that were not going to be saved. Mm-hmm. So organ donor cards are really, really important. But one of the things you realize, I think, as part of a family, and when loved ones go through this, you realize that there are other people that are going through this.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the first time that you realize that. And you start looking around and you say, wow, we're not the only ones. We've been able to get the information. We've been able to seek out the right doctors. But what about all those that can't?
That's right.
That's right. And that's one of the things that you realize in a very serious situation like that about others.
That's right.
Jesse, I want to just point on that because, you say that there's other people and that are going through the same as what we went through. Well, when you said that, it just clicked in my mind. It's like, when we go through this, we almost get a pity party. We almost like feeling sorry for ourselves and sitting there. And this is where we get to a point where we don't know where else to go. We don't know how to answer these questions. Well, this is what this foundation is about. This foundation is for those people that feel that they don't have anywhere. This is your outreach. This is we have programs where we have group sessions where the patients or kidney patients come and we sit there and we talk. And it's not about this is what I'm going through, and it's about this is what I'm doing. How could I get help or do this? And all the patients all have their own story. So I could sit there and tell, this, and I call them my family. I can tell them, well, this is what you're going through. This is what I did.
There's an absolute relatability. It's like when you're a fighter.
Yeah.
And Benny, you can attest to this. How can you be coached by somebody who's never been in the ring?
That's right.
How can you be trained by somebody who's never been at that level that you seek?
That's right.
In order to become a champion, you have to be in the light of other champions. You have to learn from them because they walk the trail before you, and they can bring you to where you want to go.
Well,
And
they have solutions. That's
That-
the thing.
you know,
That's what
that's
this
right.
That's what this
Solutions.
foundation is about.
Solutions.
It's about a solution.
you're right.
It's about answers, and that's what this foundation brings. It brings a solution instead of an idea. Everybody has ideas, but this foundation says, "I have a solution for you,
and
I have a direction."
and we have somebody in the foundation that went through it.
That's right.
From
has experience.
has the
But
experience.
the
of-
most important thing about this foundation is that we're in the heart of the community.
Yeah.
We're not on the internet all the time. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities in the internet if the generation can get online or can work a computer. But we do a lot of groundwork. We're on the ground.
Yeah, you're
working
not
with
at the
people.
top of Cedar Sinai
That's
right.
Hospital in Beverly Hills on the 12th floor. You're down here where people need to get the
Well,
information.
we're there on the Children's Hospital and the ground.
I like
the
that.
grassroots. We're everywhere, and we do work with all of them. The
Right.
Children's Hospital in Los Angeles with the kidney patient, the children that are affected with kidney disease, and then on December we do collaborate with the Cedar Sinai. We help their patients get active on the transplant list for a transplant, but the most important thing is we're there on a personal base, really educating them, bringing awareness, and offering that support. But the key is directing them on how to take that next step.
What we were just talking about,
right.
how to get
Solution.
to the next step, the
Yeah.
solution.
Because they don't know.
Which is
Yeah.
very important in any fight for
right.
life. And the
And
ultimate
how-
fight is the fight for life.
And how you
Well,
get
that's what this fight is about.
Right.
This
Yeah.
fight that we're putting on the 18th, Father's Day. Why? Because fathers get a chance to get together and do something they love doing, but supporting one another on Father's Day. What better way to go out there, be entertained, support
That's
one
it.
another, and really, truly, because
What-
every father's wish is to see their kids healthy.
Oh, yeah,
And
absolutely.
and that's all we can ask for, and that's what this fight's about. It's about fighting, bringing financial direction, so that way, because again, money is an organizer, and so we have this so we can have the money to organize for the ones that are coming and saying, let's give you a direction. Let's show you what you
Right.
can do, and this is a lot of it. We pays for a lot of their packs and things and so forth. But
Right.
it's about people, and that's what this fight is about.
Well,
It's
the fight
about
for life,
people.
right.
we're
That's right.
delivering up to 500 emergency backpacks. I mean, at least 250 are going to the children that are affected with kidney disorder, and the rest will be going to the community with patients
So
that
for
are
our
in
audience
units.
that are watching and listening, you got to get involved here and you got to donate some money. I mean, that's the bottom line. Let's get right to it, Jack. You
Yeah.
got to donate some money. You got to reach into your pockets and you got to get some money out to these people and this foundation because, look, you never know what turn life is going to turn on you. You never know what's going to happen. There's only one person that knows, and that's God Almighty that knows. But
right.
besides
Amen to that.
you know, we don't know nothing. We think we know everything, but we don't know nothing. It could happen to you 1 minute from now or 1,000 years from now if you're blessed to live that. I wouldn't want to live 1,000 years.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Just be in the moment of today.
That's right. So I mean, there's all kinds of sponsorship levels. There's the welterweight level, $1,000. I mean, you get a whole bunch of cool stuff. We got these pamphlets and these flyers that you can download from the site that we'll be talking about here, the foundation.org, and we're going to be talking about that in a second. But there's different levels of middleweight sponsorship. We have heavyweight sponsorships, cruiserweight sponsorships, and of course, there's more packages, VIP passes, parking passes, and all these different things that are coming up here on June 18th. And I'd love to be able to go through all of this. What we're going to do is we're going to post this front and back side up on our website, and we get thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hits. So we're going to post this up and get the word out on that. But its location, it's going to be at the Marriott Burbank, and that's a great place to see a fight, by the way, as for the Fight for Life. It's over there on Hollywood Way, right by the airport. And the doors open at 1 p.m. on June 18th, 2017. Fight time starts at 3. We're not just talking about 1 or 2 or 3 fights. We're talking about a whole day
That's
of
it.
great competition.
That's it.
You know,
That's
and
true.
it's exciting when and these are amateurs. So these kids, and they're all kids to me. So these kids are out there, and they're working the hardest they can, their hearts out to try to get to the next level. And that's the amateur aspect of that. Their dreams and aspirations is what's so exciting to see great amateur boxing and kickboxing.
But these are the top. So these are the top amateurs of what they're doing and striving for, not only for a better life, but in a career of being able. You know, in this fight, I've been so blessed, and my family been so blessed to travel and see the world.
Right.
I mean, I train kings, I train queens, I train diplomats. I even my family, we even did exhibitions for the presidents, and so
Wow.
I had the opportunity to see and go to every part of these third world countries, and I was fighting in third world countries when, to me, I was introducing a sport, and competing
Right.
against an opponent. But to them, it was country against country. To me, I was fighting against an opponent and introducing the sport. But so I see in every decade, this is my 5th decade of warfare, and I realized that it really never was about a physical fight. To me, it was 20% physical, it was 80% mental, and it was 99.9% of the rest of that was emotional, was internal. What we were taught to hide because it
Right.
was weak.
Right.
So this fight, there's a lot of kidney people that are hiding. How do you feel? Oh, I feel great. Another day in paradise. Then I look at them and say, how do you really feel?
Right.
And they look at me and they say, and you can see their eyes get glossy. And they say, I don't know you that well to tell you, but
Right.
and I say, you don't have to come back and see it. We hide so much pain. And
Right.
because we've been taught to hide it. We don't want to burden nobody, this and that. But when it really comes down to it, this foundation and this fight, it's about life. It's about your journey. The power is not about your destiny. It's about the journey, a roller coaster ride of emotions up
right.
and down. And that's where
Absolutely.
we're going with this.
Yeah, well, come on. Someone gets this diagnosis. I mean, it hits to the core of humanity, of yourself. AJ?
Yeah.
I mean, when you got your diagnosis of this, it rocks your world. It
But
just,
not only him, it was
and
all
the family.
Oh,
And
are you kidding me?
oftentimes,
Yeah.
I think the family gets rocked even harder because
we feel helpless.
what can we do?
Exactly.
Right.
I-
That's it. You feel
feel
helpless.
helpless.
It's like your fighter's in the ring
Yeah.
getting the snot kicked out of him, and you can't go in there and help him. It's
That's
like,
right.
you still feel helpless.
That's right.
I tell you, when I was told that I had 6 months to live, I turned around and looked behind me, and I turned back and looked at the doctor and said, "You talking to me?"
Yeah, right.
He goes-
What, you talking to me? Like,
He goes, "Yeah, I'm
me?
talking to you."
Get out of here,
He goes,
right?
he goes, get your life in order. You got 6 months.
Gee, thanks.
And-
What?
I'll tell you, if I ever wanted to hit somebody at that time with a lot of passion,
Oh, yeah.
it would have been that one.
Yeah, Doc, I get
And-
my life in order. You got $1 million for me.
Yeah.
I get my life in order.
No,
Okay.
the point is, hey,
Right,
you
I
don't,
hear
you
what
don't
you're
know
saying.
me that well. You don't know me that well to say that to me.
I know. Sometimes doctors are just so insensitive to the words that are coming out of their mouth,
Yeah.
even though they don't want to. They don't know how to communicate properly. Get your life together. You got 6.
Yeah,
thanks a lot. Right.
No, not all. You know what?
Terrible
Not,
bedside.
it's
Not all
anything else. Not
doctors.
all. Some, it's just some get right to the point of it. But getting right to the point of it sometimes is very painful and very fearful.
There's a great
Yeah.
story. There's a great story I've heard many times about you, Benny, at the Jet Center. Okay, over on Laurel Canyon.
That's right.
Right. There's a great story. Jacob Bressler tells it. Jacob tells it. Jeff Langton tells it. And these were two guys. Everybody knows that Jeff Langton went on to have a great movie career. Had
right.
the Oak Street Gym there in Burbank for 12 years, the Pope of Oak Street. Just a terrific. And he attributes everything to you. I mean, we talk about you all the time. By the way, folks, for me, it was Benny the Jet Urquidez, not Bruce Lee. I loved Bruce Lee. I loved everything that he brought to the film world and exposed this in a very giant way, the martial art.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual warrior and the actual application in battle, in the heat of the moment, was Benny the Jet, man. I mean, this guy, please, for me, you were the guy that I was like, yeah, but did you ever see Benny the Jet fight? You ever see him fight? I mean, come on now. So, but he tells the story I tell, and I just got to, I'll cut it down real fast. Some guy comes into the gym and he wants to have an altercation with you. Some big old guy comes into the gym, he wants to have an altercation with you, and you're in your office and and the guys come over to you and say, "Hey, this guy wants to have some dealing with you. He wants to take you on or whatever." And you roll your eyes and you go, "Oh, gee, not another one, right?" And then the guy send him back. Tell him to come back another day. So he comes back and he keeps coming back and he keeps coming back. And finally, you decide, okay, well, be here at the closing time. You tell everybody to leave and you take them into the ring and you teach them a lesson. But the thing that was interesting to me in the story that I've heard over the years was that after you taught him a lesson, you kind of helped him up a little bit and sent him on his way. But you had honor in it, but you had to teach him a lesson. And now is pretty much the story. Am I pretty much right on that story?
Know what? Going back from the biblical days, it was always about honor. It was about honor your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your teachers. It was always about honor. And you know what? As something, when you're growing up in a tough neighborhood, you always had to show on the outside, I'm not afraid to die, so what can you do to me? Shoot me? I'm not afraid to die. So in that was external. But deep inside, if I should hit somebody and then drop them, I would laugh and this and that and walk away, and I feel bad about it. That's only because my soul, I really had a good soul. It's just I hid it because growing up in a neighborhood that you really have, it's almost like looking out the window before you walk out the door.
I know the neighbor. I know. Look, I grew up over there. I know.
So that's what it was all about.
I used to find 12 ways home, so no one would find me home. I'd walk over people's neighbors' backyards and through fields when there used to be fields over there, right?
That's
and
right.
I had 12 different ways to get home, so no one would follow me.
But through all those stories, nobody likes to tell a dull story,
right?
And you see it through the vision of your eyes. But then when you're going to say it your way. For myself, I've been really blessed, and I've been fighting for 5 decades. I'm just thankful I can still understand myself after all these years.
I got to tell you, I got to tell you, if I was a lady, I'd ask you out on a date because you're also still very handsome.
There you go.
Of course, Mama T would be awful pissed off at me.
That's right. That's right.
I couldn't answer to my daughter either, or my son. So I guess that's not going to happen, Benny. So I'm sorry. Okay, but you mentioned something which is a direct connection to what you went through, AJ, and you, Carol, and that is sometimes you have to prove something, and in order to prove that something, you have to go through something,
right?
Yeah. And not prove it to anybody else, but like you said, prove it to yourself, because it's your inside that you're really tackling. And like you said, you hit a guy and knock him out, but then you walk away and you go, all right. But then a part of you says, I feel sorry for the guy, and that's sort of that inside in all of us. And when you go through a traumatic experience like your family went through, you're proving a lot to yourself.
Right. And, when I went through what I went through with my kidney, I can't be so, what's the word I want to use? I can't be selfish.
Right.
It wasn't me. It wasn't just me going through it. It was my family, my wife. My wife is the one that every day, when we close the doors, my hardcore structure, weakened at that point. So when I used to go in my room and do dialysis, I would sit there and just, man, I just, this is not what I want to do today. I said, we got to get off this and end this pretty quick.
Right.
And
absolutely.
With your loved ones, they're the ones that come by and say, oh, you know what? They give you that tough love. And that tough love is the kind of love that you need, because it gets you, all right, well, if I tell her I want some water and she'll look at me, get it yourself.
My mother died of Lou Gehrig's disease at 57 years old, ALS, and I won't go too much into the story because I want to get the poster ready because I want to show the poster off, and I really want to jump in that for the next 10 minutes or so. But my mother died of Lou Gehrig's disease, and my father was her full-time nurse. He retired the moment my mother was diagnosed at 57. My dad was 60. My dad's 85 now, so it was a long time ago. So what happened was exactly what you said, AJ. My mother would not allow my father to feel sorry for her. And she was the one that was going through the terminal disease that there's no cure even today for. It's a death sentence. But she wouldn't allow my father to be sorry and over serve her, if you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Up until the last 2 hours that I saw her, she lost her ability of motor skills in her mouth, because that's what happens with Lou Gehrig's disease. She never stopped fighting. Never stopped fighting, and would not allow my father to feel sorry.
Powerful woman.
Powerful woman.
Powerful.
And that's exactly what you said. So I totally can appreciate what you're talking about. And also, I appreciate what you said when you want to knock a guy out.
So
let's put the poster up. Let's pick it up here.
This is what...
Can we see this pretty good?
Absolutely. This is what we're
Is
here
it
and
in
fighting
frame?
for.
Okay. So what we have here, we have the ring here, and we have the spot, the people that are bringing you to the fight right here. But look at all these great fights. I mean, we've got kickboxing, we got boxing. June 18th, 2017, presented by BC Boxing Club, the BC welterweight title fight. And of course, it's Victor Alvarez versus Osvaldo Venegas. I hope I got that right. It's the first time I've read it.
Venegas.
Venegas, thank you very much. And doors open at 1, and it's located at the Burbank Marriott. And we have a great undercard here for the super lightweight title fight and also the welterweight title fight. So these are great fights here from great young men who are striving. They're in their prime. They're coming into their prime. And then we have an undercard here with other fighters that are going to be participating and showing their boxing skills here in the ring at the Marriott in Burbank on June 18th. Doors open at 3, and we can't forget about Arnold Euclides, Benny the Jet Euclides, Lily Euclides Rodriguez, and Denny Trejo. Yeah, right there. And it's look at all the sponsors. Everybody's jumping on board here. Denny's, Ryder, Hammer. That's Toyota Hammer over in Sepulveda. JB, Gemini. We've got the K-Jams. That's the radio station. Costco, Coca-Cola. We have MundaFlex.com. So many great sponsors are coming on board. There's a sponsorship package. We've got to bring this back to the community. I'm so proud of you guys for doing this because it's been so long since we've had a great spectacle and event like this for a good reason. The Kidney Quest Foundation.
That's right.
That's true.
And just to...
Not bad for the first time read through, huh?
Yeah. and I'll tell you, on this fight card, you look at it and it looks like a pro show.
Yeah.
It is a pro show for the amateurs. And what we're doing is we're bringing these amateurs out and we're giving them a highlight of their life. Because now these guys want to go out there and fight. It's war.
Yeah.
It's war once you get in that ring.
That's their journey right now.
Yeah, and
that's the journey of their life.
That's showing them
right now. Their
everything
career.
right there. Right there.
That's exactly what it is.
That's giving it all.
That's right.
That's the beautiful thing about fighting. Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, any type of combat situation where you're actually just not doing katas and things like this.
Right.
It's the journey of their life. It's fully encompassing.
That's true. How true that is.
And they're so passionate. I know my son. He's a Spartan racer, and he's going to go pro very soon. So I get it. I so appreciate the effort that these young men and women that are participating in this, and what a great guy to be a part of this. Your foundation and you, Benny. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I know there's going to be a second and third and fourth show. We got to get HBO and Showtime involved in this. In fact, we got to contact our contacts at HBO and Showtime and get them involved in this because this is bigger than just the fight.
That's right.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's bigger.
It's life. It's life within itself.
Yeah, I can vision something really cool happening out of this. HBO, get it. HBO Fight Night, Thursday night. With ABTV Live, Jesse Terrell reporting live here at Madison Square Gardens for the Kidney Quest Foundation. We've raised $14 billion, but we need more because the world needs new kidneys for every young man and woman and child on the planet Earth. Sponsored by the Kidney Quest Foundation. and Benny the Jet Yukitas brothers.
There you go. And you got name for that.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm just making it up as I go, but I believe in what you're doing because I can relate and appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
Jesse,
And
this,
yes, sir.
I just want to let you know this one was Benny the Jet signed for you.
Oh, thank you,
So
man.
this one is for you.
That's going in my
this
library of,
definitely yours
of
right
po-
here.
of that. Thank you very much. When I was 8, 9 years old, I never thought. This is how life is. It's really crazy. When I was 8, 9 years old, and you would come to the boys club, Boys and Girls Club in Pacoima. You were an older guy, and nobody really knew who you were. I mean,
That's right.
you were just a guy helping kids, and we all liked to fight anyway, you helped us with some moves the time you spent. But who would ever thought or thunk that I would be here with your family talking about a great foundation and your family and you, Benny the Jet, the world champion of champions, the greatest fighter pound for pound I have ever seen. And I went to a couple of your fights as a teenager and watched the greatest fighter. This guy is like 5-time world champion, or more.
Well, you know what?
I know you don't talk about
I
yourself.
don't.
You're so humble. My goodness. I'm going to talk about you right now okay, look at Muay Thai champion, National Karate League champion, Professional Karate Association, Star System World Kickboxing champion, World Kickboxing Association 3-time champion, World Professional Karate Organization, World Series of Martial Arts champions, and it goes on and on and on and on.
All that matters is I'm here today with a great cause and thankful that I have this day that I can share not only my career, but to share this foundation and a great cause. And I'm just thankful to be here, and I thank you very much. for
My
having
door
us.
is open to you guys. My door is open to the foundation.
Thank you.
We want to get involved with this. And did we get everything in that we needed to get in? Okay, so let's cover the
What
date
about
real quick because we're running out.
the website.
Oh, give me the website. Yes.
It's
Yes.
www.kidneysquestfoundation.org.
www.kidneysquestfoundation.org, kidneysquestfoundation.org, or call 818-521-6348, 818-521-6348. Fight for Life, June 18th, Burbank Marriott Hotel. Hey, we're going to be there. Great fight card. You got to be there. Check it out. We'll post all this stuff up. Become a sponsor. Getting to start something new. Make it a fight for your life as you fight for everybody else's life, because life is what it's all about. The Brown Beauty is off duty. Jesse Terrero saying, see ya. Thank you very much. Hey, man, can you show me how to throw a jab? I mean, come on. A jab?
It's got to do with the bob and weave.
Got to do the bob and weave. Come on. I can.